What do you be doing? It's the Borcates here, and today we are reacting to some. What do you be doing? It's the Borcates here, and today we are reacting to some SpongeBob Theories by Alex Bale. Just from the last theory with the Pixar multiverse theory, that was unexpectedly really good, and a lot of y'all wanted me to react to SpongeBob Theories. Y'all even call it goated, the greatest of all time. Or in this case, the greatest of all theories. And he even wore yellow for this occasion. I tried. There is literally a 4-hour video dedicated to all of his theories. I'm sorry, I don't want to react to all that. So we're gonna react to some. And tell me what you guys think. Tell me if I need to react to specific SpongeBob theories that I would like. Or recommend some like theories. Or recommend some theories on other channels because I'm kind of starting to get into it. But yeah, without no further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first one, I will go with the imagination theory. So here we go. Okay, why did he look like
Here's
that?
a question I've been asked from the very start of making these SpongeBob theories. How is there fire underwater? It's probably one of the most obvious contradictions in this show.
Why is there fire underwater? Why is there an ocean in an ocean? Like, it did make, as a kid, you wouldn't think of that, but don't tell me this is all gonna play into the theory.
And the creators will usually go out of their way to draw attention to the fact that it doesn't make any sense.
And then they show bubbles.
Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be a...
Whoever said this obviously has no idea about the physical limitations of life underwater. Might as well throw these in the fire.
So finally, I will give the people my answer to this infamous age-old question: how is there fire underwater?
Is it imagination?
It's just a cartoon. I'm not kidding. That's actually my answer. SpongeBob is not the real world. It's a cartoon. It has its own cartoon logic where absurd things like fire being underwater can happen. But that doesn't mean there's nothing here to theorize about. Just because it's cartoon logic doesn't mean it's not still logic. If you pay close attention, you can see that there is a consistent internal logic and rules.
Sandy doing this while she has a freaking bowl on her head.
How SpongeBob cartoon logic works is best explained in the season 3 episode Idiot Box.
Imagination.
SpongeBob and Patrick spend the day playing inside of a box, but Squidward keeps hearing impossible sound effects coming from it.
SpongeBob?
And how are they creating these sound effects?
How are you two making those noises?
Imagination.
With their imagination. And this is key to understanding how the SpongeBob world really works. This episode tells us that anything that is imagined in SpongeBob can physically come to life. We can
you know what?
see this imagination rule in every single episode of the show. The most obvious example of this is when a character is thinking and a thought bubble appears above their head. But in SpongeBob, these thought bubbles are real physical things. Other characters can see and physically interact with them.
Wait, hold on! My pen is out of ink. Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback.
Because things imagined in SpongeBob come to life. And this goes far beyond just thought bubbles. It explains how characters are constantly getting new props and costumes out of nowhere. Where did SpongeBob suddenly get this hat and sign? Where did he get this glove or all of these costumes that instantly appear and disappear? It's because SpongeBob is imagining all of these props. This can be used to explain almost every single absurd gag in this show.
Wait, Patrick, you're supposed to let me win, remember?
Oh yeah.
Patrick is imagining himself getting beat up here.
Oh, everyone can do it?
SpongeBob is imagining the sun talking to him and burning his bedroom. And SpongeBob and Patrick are imagining that fire is able to exist underwater. And if you still don't believe me, look what happens when Patrick questions the logic behind the fire.
Oh, and then it goes out.
Underwater, how could there be a...
The moment they start doubting the logic of the fire, it disappears because they're no longer able
This
to
is such a
imagine it.
weird
This rule
theory.
also seems to be limited by how imaginative each character is. Squidward, who never even got the idiot box to work, rarely ever manifests any imaginations, while SpongeBob, arguably the most imaginative character in the show, has created living characters like Doodlebob
I
and
would
Bubble
love
Buddy
that
using his
power.
imagination, both of which have ended up continually reappearing throughout the entire show. Bubble Buddy even
Nya,
went on to
nya,
create an
nya,
entire
nya.
bubble
Okay, sorry.
town full of bubble citizens, all stemming from SpongeBob's imagination. This theory also explains why Mrs. Puff gets trapped in so many delusions. They are literally manifesting around her because of her imagination. Okay, but what's the point of explaining all of this? Even if you didn't know the exact mechanics of it, you probably already understood that random stuff can just appear and disappear in a cartoon. I'm not really telling you anything groundbreaking. But once you fully understand this idea, it adds a whole new context to so many things in this show. One of the most interesting being how dreams seem to affect the world, specifically SpongeBob's dreams. In Season 1 Sleepy Time, SpongeBob dreams about finally getting his license, but then he crashes and Mrs. Puff takes his license away. And this is exactly what happens later in the Season 2 episode, No Free Rides. Mrs. Puff gives him a license, instantly regrets it, and after SpongeBob crashes his car, Mrs. Puff takes his license away. So, did SpongeBob's dream predict this event? Or did his imagination literally cause it to happen? Okay, you're not convinced yet? Don't worry. This is far from the only instance of this happening. In Season 2 Procrastination, SpongeBob dreams about his pineapple burning down, which happens later in Season 9 Gary's New Toy. In Season 5 Roller Cowards, he dreams about crashing on a Glove World roller coaster. I remember that episode. And then it happens in Season 10 Don't Wake Patrick. Even dreams we don't see come true. In Squids on a Bus, Squidward becomes a bus driver for the day, and SpongeBob says this.
I've always dreamed one day I'd board a bus and see you driving it.
Now, I already know what you're gonna say. SpongeBob's a very long-running show. A lot of these basic plots were bound to happen eventually, right? You know, it's like how The Simpsons can...
Yeah, he said Season 9.
But in Season 4's Fear of Krabby Patties, SpongeBob dreams about everyone in the Krusty Krab turning into giant killer Krabby Patties.
Now let me offer this as a rebuttal. Okay.
That is a very weird and specific plot, and yet that's still exactly what happens 7 seasons later in Krabby Patty.
Yo, the
animations
just look so morbid now.
And turns everyone into giant mutant Krabby Patty monsters that try to hunt SpongeBob down. It seems like all of SpongeBob's dreams eventually manifest into real life because of the unlimited power of his imagination. Okay, that's all pretty interesting, right? But you wanna know something really crazy? While researching this theory, I discovered something insane. Honestly, it may be one of the craziest discoveries I've ever found in this show. Are you ready?
Really?
In the Season 6 special, Truth or Square, all of the characters get trapped inside of the massive ventilation system beneath the Krusty Krab.
There's an entire network of tunnels and air ducts underground.
At a certain point, Mr. Krabs gets separated from the group.
A crossroads. I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
SpongeBob then takes a break to tell the story of when Mr. Krabs told him the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This reminds me of the time Mr. Krabs confided in me the Krabby Patty recipe. Mr. Krabs called me into his office.
And then something really strange happens. After the story, we cut back to the group, and Mr. Krabs is somehow back with them after previously being separated.
Okay. He came from the dream?
I'm serious. There's no scene of them being reunited. He's just gone and then back somehow, and it's never explained in this episode. I mean, what was even the point of wasting time and money animating them split up if they were just gonna immediately bring Mr. Krabs back without any explanation?
I'll go this way, and SpongeBob...
Is there multiple Mr. Krabs?
You could literally remove the scene of Mr. Krabs separating from them, and the episode would make total sense. But wait a second. Look at how SpongeBob's story ends.
You can never tell another living soul. Wait, hold on! Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback.
Imaginary Mr. Krabs from inside of the thought bubble grabs Plankton and throws him down a vent. And when we cut back, Mr. Krabs
just
is
there.
suddenly back sitting with the group. The obvious explanation is that this isn't the real Mr. Krabs.
Oh,
this
no.
is still the imaginary Krabs from SpongeBob's story who
Oh,
came to
no.
life. And the real Mr. Krabs is still somewhere lost inside of the Krusty Krab vents, and they never switched back. The Mr. Krabs they escape with is not the real Mr. Krabs. And every time we see Mr. Krabs after this season 6 episode, he's actually a fake imaginary doppelganger. And the real one is still trapped beneath the Krusty Krab somewhere. It's the reason why Mr. Krabs in later seasons has become such a one-dimensional character, going from someone who was cheap but still genuinely cared about his employees and family to a one-note cartoon villain. It's because he actually was replaced by a flat, imaginary imitation of the original. And I know what you're gonna say, there's no way SpongeBob would imagine him to be that way. Well, think again.
Show me what you got.
Look at me. I'm Mr. Krabs. I love money. Every night I tuck me wallet in and tell it
Oh.
a bedtime story. Ooh, what's that you say? Me daughter Pearl needs an operation? I'll do it myself and save a nickel.
That'll do, SpongeBob.
Oh, no.
And that is the imagination theory.
Okay. No, that was okay. And then there's never like a flashback in that season ever again. Like, okay, how was that bad? If there is any like specific theories you want me to react to, let me know. Let me know. Let me know if there's some really good ones because I'm just picking here. I'm new to this. All right, I see that this one got a lot of replays, so we're gonna react to. This is called the skeleton theory. I remember that animation.
Just a heads up, some of these new mini theories kind of build off of my old SpongeBob conspiracies. So if you've never seen my television theory, I recommend watching that first. So there's this viral image.
You know what? Let's
That's
go.
gone around the internet that points out a really funny detail about this show. There seems to be a frightening number of miniature dead human skeletons in SpongeBob. And it's a really funny observation, but it's also really strange because why are there a bunch of mini dead human skeletons in SpongeBob? Like, the animators already have a generic design for a fish skeleton. Why are they going out of their way to make these human skeletons? They're obviously much more detailed and harder to draw. And this is something we see in both early and modern SpongeBob. Well, I think the television theory actually provides a pretty good explanation for this. We know there's tons of human scuba divers secretly filming the show, and it even looks like some of them are
I don't remember
fish-sized,
that.
and we know there is shrinking technology in this show. So, like I've already said, I think it's fair to assume that humans shrunk themselves down to better film these characters undetected, which explains why we see so many tiny human skeletons. They're the crew members who sadly passed away during the filming of SpongeBob. They are deep underwater after all. It's not the safest place for humans to be. And that's about all I had to say about this topic. It's not actually that interesting. I probably wouldn't have even bothered making this separate mini theory if it wasn't for a very interesting piece of SpongeBob history that was recently made public. The original SpongeBob Pitch Bible, the document created by Steven Hillenburg in 1997 to pitch the show to Nickelodeon, was just recently finally made available to the public. And it is full of fascinating early ideas and concept art for the show. But what's interesting to me is that much like the show itself, the Pitch Bible is presented like a fictional in-universe report from a team of deep-sea divers discovering Bikini Bottom for the first time. An afternoon ascent into the deep crystalline gulf, which plummets from the island's coral base, revealed the natural wonder which had so long eluded the eyes of mankind. We had indeed found SpongeBoy, which was the original name for SpongeBob. Glistening in the glow of our dive lamps, sat a submerged treasure unlike any other in the world. We were afforded a first-hand glimpse into the character of SpongeBoy and his world. It's crazy that even the Pitch Bible for this show has lore. If this doesn't prove the television theory, I don't know what does. But there's something in this Bible that I always thought was a little strange. On page 12, there's a dedication section. It describes one of the first expeditions to Bikini Bottom taken by a deep-sea diver named Bucky Leavitt, using a new and untested diving suit, which ultimately...
Hey, that
exploded
reminds
from the
me in that
undersea
movie,
pressures. Bucky
right?
died, making the only known map of Bikini Bottom. It is to Bucky and his pioneer spirit that
It
we
says
dedicate
Bucky
this research.
died?
It's kind of a strange thing to include in a pitch for a kid show, of all things.
Yeah.
The story seems to be inspired by Benjamin Leavitt, the inventor of the suit shown in this photo, but there's no record of him ever dying during an expedition. So it seems like this story about Bucky was completely made up just to add more lore to the show. So it then begs the question, if he is a character in this universe, where is Bucky's body? Could he possibly be one of the human skeletons we've seen throughout the show?
He reminds me in the
we know
movie,
Bucky
right?
died in his old prototype diving suit, so I think his body would probably still be inside of it. So the real question is, do we know of any diving suits in Bikini Bottom? And
Yes, we do.
We do. We see it almost every episode. SpongeBob's
Oh.
television. SpongeBob's TV is clearly supposed to be an old diving suit helmet, but it's strange because it's so small compared to diving suits we've seen worn by
Yeah,
other
that
humans.
one.
So
That's
either
what I was
this
thinking
diving
about.
suit is from a shrunken human, or it's been compressed down to a smaller size by the pressures of the sea, just like Bucky's. We even see SpongeBob's TV design was a part of the original pitch Bible. I think there's a very good chance that this is supposed to be at least the head of Bucky Leavitt. I think every time SpongeBob is watching TV, he's actually staring directly at a dead human skull. And if you don't believe me, in Season 10's Whirly Brain, SpongeBob and Patrick fight over the TV and actually pull it apart. And for the very first time ever, we get a look inside. It's an extremely fast moment, but if you go frame by frame, you'll see that inside of SpongeBob's TV is what looks like a human skull. And that is Skeleton Theory. Rest in peace, Bucky.
Rest in peace, Bucky. What? What? Wow! It is not like he's speaking out of his butthole. He's just literally, he has evidence, and it's like, oh, baby, okay. Like, he convinced me at the end because I was like, no way it's gonna be a skull, and then it's a skull, and I'm like, wow, these mini theories are pretty dope. All right, next one is, this is another one that got viewed a lot. So on the timeline, you see how it gets like viewed a lot and stuff. We'll do this one. All right, it's called the Grandpat Theory. What the heck is the Grandpat Theory? All right. The Grandpat? Is this based off of like the show, like Patrick's in or something?
So, in 2021, Nickelodeon released a new spin-off show.
Yeah,
about
the Patrick Show.
The Patrick Star
I never
Show.
watched it.
Hi, I'm Patrick Star, and I live with my parents. This is my dad. This is my mom. This is my sister. This is my grandpa. And this is my show.
Yeah, I never
I was
watched
really
it.
interested in it because it seems to kind of acknowledge the fact that it is a TV show, with Patrick actually being filmed and putting on a show as part of the plot of each episode.
Coming to you from the Star Family home, it's time for the Patrick Show! And here's your wide-awake host,
But it's weird. It's supposed to be a prequel when Patrick was still living with his family, but the Patrick's parents and sister characters that were established in the main show have been
look
replaced by
changed,
completely different people in this spin-off. This has been a long-running mystery about the Patrick Star Show that many people have asked me to talk about, but a storyboard artist for the Patrick Star Show actually addressed these contradictions in a very funny Twitter thread where he offers many different possible explanations for why Patrick's family looks different. These range from Patrick just perceiving reality differently to him just assuming whatever starfish is closest to him is his family. To some
that's
kind of
sad.
crazy timeline manipulation. But my favorite is just that they were recast by the in-universe showrunners and Patrick's too dumb to notice. Also, casual television theory confirmation, no biggie, we're used to it at this point. Now, I watched a good amount of this show
That's
when it
sad.
was first coming out, and there wasn't really too much here for me to analyze, except for one very interesting character. Grandpat, and it ties directly in with my Neptune theory. Grandpat is allegedly Patrick's grandfather, even though we've never heard about him until now.
Mom, Dad, who's this guy?
I'm your grandfather, Grandpat. Must we do this every morning?
He's sort of a generic, cranky old man character who's apparently somehow been alive since prehistoric times.
Back in my
That's
day,
old.
we were food. It was way back in the Patrolithic period of early cave stars.
But he's not really that notable or interesting of a character, or that's at least what I thought, until
What's his
I
past?
noticed something strange in the episode Squidina's Little Helper.
Sounds like we're doing a puppet show. Follow me. The secret
Is that
crawls
Mr.
and
Krabs?
all over the house.
As characters move through a crawl space in Patrick's house, one of them briefly opens the door and finds a weird secret room full of Roman architecture with Grandpat inside.
Who's a hungry boy? Dig in so you can grow up big and brisk.
Why is his beard eating food?
The puppets are this way.
It's kind of a weird throwaway gag, but there's not really much to it, and they immediately move on with the episode without ever addressing it again.
Hold up,
But
no.
something about this tiny, insignificant moment really stuck with me, even months after watching this episode. And when I watched it again, I couldn't help but notice that the door leading to the room is labeled XIV. The Roman numerals for 14 for seemingly no reason. Is this supposed to be the 14th room in the house or what? But then I remembered we've heard the number 14 before in the season 4 episode Krusty Towers.
This room is hideous. Redesign it. Neptune the 14th will be nice. What?
King Neptune is also referred to as the 14th. Is it possible that there's some sort of connection between Grandpat and King Neptune? I mean, that's even the way you would write a king's ordinal number, with the Roman numerals XIV. Also, the room is full of fancy royal Roman architecture.
I was about to say, is
and
this
the way
King
Grandpat
Neptune?
is relaxing and eating grapes like a king. Hear me out, hear me out. Is it possible Grandpat is King Neptune? We know Neptune has the power to
What?
change the way people look.
What the?
And it would explain why Grandpat, just a normal sea star, is able to be alive as far back as prehistoric times. He even has a prehistoric drawing of a starfish wearing a crown in his bedroom. This could even explain why they thought Patrick was a descendant of royalty in Rule of Dumb.
Which makes you a descendant of royalty. You
Rule of Dumb?
are a king.
But wait a second. Why would the King of the Sea be pretending to be Patrick's cranky old grandpa? Well, remember, the Patrick Star Show is a prequel to the main series, and if you believe my Neptune theory, then you know Neptune wasn't always the king
Dang,
of
why
the
did-
sea. It's likely at some point he stole the throne and Poseidon's wife. So, what if
That's
this takes
crazy.
place
That's some
before
gangster
Neptune
stuff.
became king?
When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river.
When he was all alone, abandoned by his own mother, desperate to find the family that he was denied his whole life. So, how would he get one? Well, it turns out that there just happens to be one family in the sea that's dumb enough not to notice when new family members are added or replaced. The Patrick Star family. So, he transforms himself into the cranky old grandfather character, Grandpat, and secretly inserts himself into the family.
I mean, I
without
would
their
get
knowledge.
that.
Who's this guy?
I have no idea. Do you, Caesar?
So you can see him too, Bunny? I thought I was the only one.
I'm your grandfather, Grandpat. Must we do this every morning?
Finally giving him the family love he's been searching for his entire life.
Grandpat! We love you.
And if this all still sounds far-fetched to you, listen
Yeah.
closely to the music we hear in this scene.
It's the same.
Who's a hungry boy? Dig in so you can grow up big and brisk.
I remember.
This small piece of music is called Roman Legions, composed by John Kakavas, and it was used only one other time in SpongeBob.
Who's a hungry boy?
Behold Neptune.
Oh, never mind.
With his mighty trident.
In the
Oh,
season 10
wow.
episode Trident Trouble, when they are introducing none other
It's
than
the
King
same
Neptune
guy.
the 14th. Grandpat is King Neptune, and that is the Grandpat theory.
Okay, I don't know about the way. Hold on, is there more?
Or at least it was until they released the episode Neptune's Ball, where we see King Neptune and Grandpat in the same room.
Man, I love your show.
Well,
And I'm really conflicted about this because yes, this obviously debunks my theory. Neptune and
Thrown in the
Grandpat can't
trash.
be the same person if they're both in the same room. But then why does all of this evidence feel so specific and intentional? Like, most evidence I find can usually be explained as an Easter egg or a coincidence, but like, I can't think of any other reason why this random room would have the Roman numerals 14 on it. Maybe this was something they were setting up but changed their minds about, or maybe there's some sort of time travel shenanigans going on, because we know
yeah, that's
Patrick's
going too
family
far.
has a time machine in this show that they use all the time.
Egypt?
Or maybe I'm just in denial and I'm
Yeah,
overthinking small little
probably.
random details. Like I've said, these are the theories that didn't make the cut for their own videos, so they're not all gonna be as strong as my main theories. But even if it's unlikely, I'm still gonna hold out hope that maybe I'll be proven right someday. Oh well, on to the next theory.
Dang, that's actually kind of sad. You know what? Hold on, what time is it? You know what? Let's react to one more. We'll react to one more. All right, what's another one? This sounds awesome. The alien jellyfish invasion theory. We'll react to one more. Oh, that looks creepy as hell.
Okay, so the actual most frequent comment I get on any of my videos is, "Where's the jellyfish theory?" And I get it. I tease this whole jellyfish alien invasion theory as sort of a misdirect in Don't Feed the Muse 2. This may be my darkest theory yet. This is the alien jellyfish invasion theory. The idea was that the plot of the theory was actually foreshadowing the plot of Don't Feed the Muse, but a lot of people
yuck.
still really wanted to see that theory, and I still get comments about it to this day. And for
You
good
gotta
reason.
give
I
it to 'em.
I was definitely clickbaiting you guys there. And to be
Wow.
completely honest, I
That's
only
crazy.
chose that topic because it lined up so well with the
Oh,
film
what
I was
the
making.
hell?
I didn't actually have a theory planned for it, but now that I've really looked into it a bit more,
Oh,
I
here
do
we
think
go.
there's actually a surprising amount of things to say about this topic. I think it might actually be one of my best mini theories in this video. So finally, here is the long-awaited alien jellyfish invasion theory. Aliens have
Alright.
invaded Bikini Bottom and taken the form of jellyfish. One by one, they replaced the citizens of Bikini Bottom with identical clones, slowly taking over the population from within. Throughout the entire show, there have been hints of these alien jellyfish secretly controlling people and pulling the strings from the shadows. This may be my darkest theory yet. This is the alien jellyfish invasion theory.
Dang.
One of the creepiest episodes of SpongeBob is, by far, the Season 8 episode, Planet of the Jellyfish. A mysterious green alien appears in jellyfish fields and
Oh,
starts
I've never seen
spreading
this.
alien jellyfish clones all over Bikini Bottom. By
Yuck.
getting the people to wear the alien jellyfish's hats, one by one they kidnap and replace the citizens of Bikini Bottom with identical clones. This whole episode is very much a parody of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films. Eventually, SpongeBob discovers the weakness of the aliens is none other than mayonnaise, and he uses it to kill the aliens and set everyone free.
Really? Mayonnaise?
But how free are they, really?
Oh,
Afterwards,
no.
Mr. Krabs
There's After
decides
Effects?
to resell all the remaining alien goo as
I'm
a
not
new
talking
Krabby
about
Patty
Adobe.
condiment.
Freaky clone jelly relish.
Get your freaky clone jelly relish patties!
And the episode ends with Patrick ordering one of these patties, but
Mr.
without
Krabs?
mayonnaise.
I'll have one relish patty. Hold the man.
We're left on this cliffhanger where Patrick might still very well be an alien clone.
Oh
And
my
that's it.
God.
It's been 11 years since this episode came out, and there has been no continuation of this story since then. So,
Or is there?
Patrick an
Was
alien?
there?
Are the Jellians still somehow around, secretly plotting another takeover? Well, before I answer that, I can actually tell you exactly where these aliens came from. The background of the title card for this episode shows a barren alien planet, but we've actually seen this exact planet before. In the season 4 episode, SquidBob
It's all
Teleports,
connected.
Sandy is experimenting with a new teleportation device and accidentally sends SpongeBob and Squidward to an alien planet for a few seconds.
Oh, it is that one.
The exact same alien planet we see in the Planet of the Jellyfish title card. Now, the aliens we see on this planet don't really resemble the Jellians, so at first I thought maybe the Jellians were originally just a different species somewhere else on this planet, but then I noticed in the background we see this orange and yellow ringed planet that isn't present in the Jellyfish title card. Planet
And there's
of the
another
Jellyfish
planet.
is obviously a parody of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and in that franchise, the aliens invaded Earth because their original home planet was dying. So what if this planet was the original homeworld of the Jellians, but just like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the planet died sometime between SquidBob and Planet of the Jellyfish, and that's why the jellyfish invaded Earth.
Okay, that
The
lines
spots on
up.
the planet even look like a jellyfish. Okay, so that's where I think the Jellians came from, but where are they now? Is Patrick actually an alien clone at the end of Planet of the Jellyfish? No, he's not. And not because I just claimed he was a robot. The Jellian clones all have black eyes and act in a very obviously alien way. And Patrick here looks and acts completely normal. But then why does he ask for a Krabby Patty without mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Well,
Or
maybe
maybe
it's as simple as he just doesn't like
he
mayonnaise.
just doesn't like mayonnaise.
Also no. And it's not because of this scene.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
It's because of the way the season 4
He says
episode
that?
Hocus Pocus ends. When SpongeBob somehow figures out how to perform real magic and Patrick asks SpongeBob to do this.
Hey, SpongeBob, I'm still hungry. Will you turn me into a jar of mayonnaise so I can eat myself?
Patricka, mayonnaise-a-ga.
Patrick could have asked SpongeBob to turn him into literally any food, and he chose mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is his favorite fucking food, which means there is no way he would ask to hold the mayo at the end
Oh,
of the
he-
jellyfish
oh.
unless he was being controlled by the Jellians. At least to some extent.
Uh-oh.
So even if he's
No.
not full-on alien
Okay.
clone, I think he is being affected by the Jellian goo he ate.
Mayonnaise
but
is not
in a
good.
much more
It's-
subtle,
but it's
dormant
good.
way. It's kind of like how rabies has evolved to make people afraid of water because the virus spreads faster without it. The Jellian goo is subconsciously making people avoid mayonnaise in order to keep itself alive. Now, there are little hints that maybe these Jellians are still around, influencing people in future episodes. Gary, Sandy, and even Patchy all mention later that they don't like mayonnaise.
Gary hates mayo.
I don't like mayonnaise neither.
Hardy, you know I don't like mayo.
And there was this
Dang.
shaman guy in season 9 that had a jellyfish on his head. But, you know, other than these random one-off moments, that's kinda it. So maybe there is a secret jellyfish invasion going on, but like I said, I chose this theory because it fit the film I was making, not because there's any smoking gun evidence to prove it all. I mean, it's not like there's a whole convention of people wearing jellyfish hats, right? Oh, yeah,
There
I forgot about
is.
these guys.
Oh, bruh. Oh, no.
So, in the season 2 episode, I'm Your Biggest Fanatic.
Oh, dang, we're still
introduced
going.
to the
I was about to say, that was
biannual
kind of a
Jellyfish
letdown.
Convention, where all the jellyfish enthusiasts in Bikini Bottom can meet up and enjoy their hobby.
Wow, I can't believe it. We're actually here at the biannual jellyfish convention.
Jellyfish are awesome.
Now, there were people wearing jellyfish hats here before the jellyfish invasion episode, but it's maybe like 10% of the people. But 4 seasons after Planet of the Jellyfish, we get an episode called Jolly Lodgers where we see the convention again, and literally like 99% of the people there are wearing jellyfish hats now.
Oh, no. They're making it look like hats.
Huh. I guess it just got a little more popular, you know, I guess it's not that weird. But not only does the convention seem a lot bigger, but there's some interesting new activities going on. We
Try to
got
look.
increasing your sting endurance, get buff jellyfishing, do you want to be a jelly? Totally legal? Maybe that's just like a little suspicious.
Why
And
would you
just
put
listen
totally
to the way
legal?
these people talk now.
You belong with us now.
Oh Okay, these guys are Jellians. They even surround Squidward in the exact same way the Jellians surrounded SpongeBob and Sandy. Look, the creators literally recreated the shot. I'm not crazy. These guys are fucking Jellians. And we even see people still
They're
wearing
Jellians.
jellyfish hats after the convention. In one of the newer episodes in season 14, we see a random fish wearing a jellyfish hat,
Oh
even though
my
he's not at
God.
or going to a jellyfish convention. But what's really
No way.
strange here is that when Bubble Bass opens a window, everyone's stuff flies off
Except
for his
that.
hat.
Wow. Everything flies off and not the jellyfish hat.
It is really stuck on there. It really feels like there is some kind of alien clinging to his head. We also see Kevin's fan club, the Jelly Spotters, again in season 14, except now they've all got
I remember
jellyfish hats. And they've replaced their leader, Kevin, with Patrick.
He got kicked out of the club years ago.
Which kind of makes sense since Kevin can't really wear a jellyfish hat since he's got that thing on his head.
I didn't know this was a hat. It wasn't.
So they got someone else who the aliens could actually replace to be in charge. It makes sense. The Jellians
Yeah,
are
because
back,
he's
and they're
freaking
using this
dumb.
convention to secretly add people to their alien hive mind collective.
Sounds
In
about
fact,
right.
I'm even pretty sure that they successfully replaced Squidward in this episode. Throughout this episode, Squidward is trying to escape this convention, but they keep cornering him and even force him to wear a jellyfish hat. But then, at the end of this episode, he finds an empty jellyfish mascot costume and decides to use it as a disguise to escape.
Say, if I put that dumb thing on, I can sneak out of here without anybody knowing it's me.
And it pretty much works. He manages to get away from everyone else.
I've got peace and quiet. I've got peace and quiet.
But wait a second. Let's go back to the establishing shot at the very beginning of this episode.
Oh no.
Do you notice anything strange here other than the stuff I've already pointed out? Hidden in the bottom right corner is the jellyfish mascot Squidward will eventually put on. But if that's the case, then why can we already see
Why did that give me
Squidward's feet
goosebumps?
coming out of it? This is way before Squidward puts on the costume to escape. We literally see him outside of the
What?
costume in the
Maybe
very
there's
first
just
shot.
another squid that,
Squidward can't also be here unless they already made an alien clone of Squidward, and at some point during the episode, they switch places. Squidward and everyone here has been replaced by the alien jellyfish invasion. And also replaced by
Dude.
the robot invasion, and also brainwashed by Goofy Goobers, and also being
I watched
secretly
that one.
controlled by the showrunners. A lot of people are trying to take over Bikini Bottom, okay? There's your jellyfish
Yeah, it's
theory.
crazy.
You can stop commenting about it.
wow. It's always at the end where he just, like, that's the final pull in. That's the final pull in, like, you've convinced me. Wow. I was like, what? And I'm looking around and then, bruh. These mini theories are pretty cool. If you guys want me to react to some more of these theories, they're interesting, they're funny, they're silly, but they kind of make sense. But yeah, this is all by Alex Bale. Shout out to Alex Bale. Go check his stuff out. These are some pretty dark theories. Maybe he could succeed. But yeah, y'all, if you guys have any other theories you want me to react to that are not SpongeBob theories, or they are SpongeBob theories that you think that I would like, that you would think like, oh, he's totally gonna like get shocked, or he's gonna totally like believe this, like, let's pull him over to the copium side or whatever you call it, like. But yeah, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all in the next one.